The Ash, Lutzi and Nikki Osborne podcast.
Well, we're told that Cyclone Alfred has slowed to a crawl and that the trajectory of where it might actually hit has changed overnight as well. So no better person to go to than the Queensland Premier to find out the very latest in relation to all of that. Good morning, David. What is the latest that you can share with our listeners this morning, mate?
Good morning to you, Lutzi. Yeah, it remains a Category 2 system, so every likelihood we'll see waves and wind and rainfall and then eventually flooding. But you're right, it's run into the coast. It's the speed at which it is coming in has slowed. So what that means is we were talking a couple of days ago, the advice was late Thursday into Friday. Well, that window's been pushed back into Friday. What that does is it gives people a little bit more time, people who haven't got ready, which is good. Good opportunity to do those little things to make your home a little safer, or if you have to leave, get that evacuation plan, go and stay with friends and family. But to give you an indication that the system's still real, I just got briefed a moment ago. There was a wave recorded off Main Beach on the Goldie, 12.3 metres.
That's crazy.
Now, that is
just
never
off the Gold Coast?
Yep, off Main Beach. So we have never seen a wave recorded at 12.3 metres. So it gives you an indication that the system's real and the threat's real, but I want people to know that if you do the little things right, you will get through an event like this. You just have to, that preparation is key. So make sure you do the little things today. It'll make a world of difference.
I see also the just coming through this morning, Premier, the possibility of Alfred reaching low-end Category 3 strength before making landfall is decreasing at this point. Model guidance is extremely consistent in the intensity of Alfred plateauing after Thursday, even if it remains over water during Friday. So we're still trying to get some sort of read on how strong it's going to be once it does hit landfall.
Yeah, good. It's a good question. Most of the models, the overwhelming majority of the models say it'll be a 2 when it crosses the coast, and that's nothing to be sneezed at, I can assure you.
Yeah.
You're right, that was there was talk of that. It was unlikely, but it was still not an insignificant prospect. But look, in these things, they are unpredictable. Now, what that means is that where it will cross, and you mentioned in your intro, that still hasn't been bedded down. The model's still showing somewhere between the sunny coast and the Gold Coast. That will tighten as it gets closer. That window will tighten, as will the time. So it being pushed back, that gives a little bit more time for people. So just do the little things, and the majority of people, the safest place will be in your home. But today's the day to make sure that you don't have stuff around the yard and to do everything you can to have bottled water and some tin food. And just another good trick is to get some of those key documents in one location, so your licenses, passports, things that if you do need to go, they're really important things to help you reconnect after a disaster. I want people to know we're taking it seriously, right? We've pre-positioned generators in locations, health staff, for example, on some of the islands. There's 1,000 Energex workers waiting and ready to go, and we've even engaged the contractors who'll be there helping to clean the debris so they can reconnect power if it goes down. So we're taking it seriously. We're doing all of that because what you need is you want to make sure that there is no daylight between the response and then the recovery. People need to see that going through. So, look, as we get info, we'll keep sharing it with people, and I just ask, just do the little things and you will be okay.
What are you most worried about? Are you most worried about the destructive winds or the potential rainfall?
Look, they're both a risk, mate, but there's no doubt that these systems, and I've seen a lot of them over the years in the northern part of the state, these systems, particularly on the southern part of it, mate, they can generate some serious rain over several days, and that presents a challenge. But people in Greater Brisbane, they're not immune to that, and I've seen how well this part of the state has handled flooding over the years. So I've got every faith that people know what to do in that event. Yeah, there's an added complexity that you'll have some wind, of course, that makes it a little different. But in the end, responding and then recovering from a disaster, it's still about doing the legwork up front. We've spent a lot of time and we've done that, and I want people to know we're taking it seriously. And I think overwhelmingly so are the majority of people. The vast majority of people are taking it seriously, and if you do that, I assure you'll be fine.
Now, I saw a whole heap of military trucks going down the Bruce Highway yesterday. I know last time the military were brought in to help with the cleanup. Have you engaged the military as a backup?
Yep, from day dot, we've had representatives of the Defence Force sitting around our table around the Queensland Disaster Management table. We've also even had SES, the head of the SES from New South Wales, so that we can work seamlessly across the border. So you're right, we've had great assistance from the Army. They've already helped us give the council some of the extra sandbags that are starting to help replenish those stocks. There's some of their air support, some of their choppers are ready to go if we need them. But across the board, we've pre-positioned Swiftwater Rescue in some of the locations that we think we might, if that's required. But my message to people, go on to the disaster website, which is disaster.qld.gov.au. On that, you'll see every one of the local governments have got what they call their dashboard. So you can click on your relevant council. There's maps that show you if you are in either a storm surge or a potential flooding area. If you are in one of those, well, then you have to consider your evacuation plan.
And today's the day to do that.
Yeah, today is the day to do that. And the slowing of its run into the coast gives you a little bit more of a window. But look, if you've got the option to go and stay with friends and family, of course that's the best option you can take, because in the end, human safety is worth more than anything else, right? That's the most important thing. If you don't, motels, if you can afford it, if you've got the means. If not, every council is putting evacuation centres in place, and I think that's tremendous. They're not an ideal place to spend a night, of course. They're not the most comfortable venue, but it's there as an option, right? So have a look at that. If you're not in one of those zones, and that is the vast majority of Queenslanders, make sure your home is ready to go and do the little things in your home. And why it's so important to clear stuff around the yard is they can become a projectile. If that goes through your window, that makes things pretty uncomfortable in an event, right? So do those little things, and that makes a world of difference.
And just be aware, I guess, again, today seems to be the important day, Premier. That's the message we're getting. No, be aware of where you are, if you're in those areas, if you're not in those areas. Also, just some awareness around where the evacuation centres are, and also the refuge centres, for instance, the RNA showgrounds for the absolute last resort in Brisbane. That's as an example, but it seems like those dashboards are the place to go just to find out that information.
Absolutely, mate. And as we get the info, we put it there. And I'm a big believer in that. My job is to make sure that people know a couple of things. Everything that we're hearing, we've got to give it to people. And I want people to know that we are prepared and we've taken it seriously. And by doing that, I hope in response, people also take it seriously. Look, it's very unusual to have a cyclone cross the coast. It's not unprecedented. It's happened before. We had a Category 2 system cross 50 years ago. So it's really unusual. But look, you will get through this if you do the little nuts and bolts.
Thanks, Prem. We'll stay in touch, mate. Stay safe.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.
The Ash, Lutzi and Nikki Osborne podcast.